Here's a number that should bother you: 3 to 5 cents a gallon. That's roughly what separates a gas station that's protecting your engine from one that's letting it slowly gunk up from the inside. 3 cents. Less than the cost of the receipt paper. And 7 brands you drive past every week decided that wasn't worth spending. Here's the part almost nobody knows. Gasoline itself is basically a commodity. Your neighborhood Chevron and the no-name station across the street might be pulling fuel from the exact same regional terminal, sometimes the same pipeline, sometimes the same literal batch. What makes one brand different from another isn't the gasoline, it's what gets added to it after it leaves that terminal. That additive package is called a detergent, and it's the whole ballgame for your engine's long-term health. In 2004, a group of automakers got tired of watching modern fuel-injected engines gunk up on the federal minimum detergent standard, so they built their own stricter standard called Top Tier. It requires 2 to 3 times the EPA's minimum detergent concentration, and today it's backed by 10 major automakers: Toyota, Honda, Ford, GM, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Audi, Stellantis, and Navistar. As of this year, 105 retail brands carry the license. AAA tested it and found top-tier fuel left intake valves with dramatically fewer carbon deposits than non-certified fuel over a controlled mileage test. That's not marketing copy. That's a lab result. So which brands didn't bother? Let's go through them, and I'll flip the list at the end, because a couple of names you're expecting to see up here genuinely don't belong. Number 7. The warehouse club you didn't think to double-check. You already know one major warehouse chain is top-tier certified. It's basically their whole pitch to car-conscious members. But if you assumed the other big warehouse retailer matches that standard automatically, you assumed wrong. It doesn't carry the certification. Same bulk buying model on paper, same aggressive per-gallon pricing that undercuts the neighborhood. Except one of them pays the annual licensing fee and locks every single station into the higher detergent recipe, and the other simply doesn't. You can't tell the difference by looking at the pump, the price sign, or the parking lot. You can only tell by checking the actual list. Number 6. The gas station bolted onto the corner of the big box parking lot. You've seen these, a tiny kiosk squeezed next to a giant retailer's entrance, undercutting everyone nearby by a few cents a gallon every single day without fail. The entire business model runs on volume. Sell an enormous amount of fuel at the thinnest possible margin and make it up in sheer traffic. When your margin is that thin, the detergent package is one of the first line items that gets trimmed down to the legal floor, because a fraction of a cent multiplied by millions of gallons adds up fast for the company, not for the engine sitting in your driveway. Number 5. The Interstate Travel Center. Walk into one of these massive truck stops and count the diesel lanes versus the regular unleaded pumps tucked off to the side. The ratio alone tells you where the priorities sit. Diesel sold to commercial fleets is where these chains make their real money. Gasoline for passenger cars is closer to an afterthought. Several of the largest highway travel center chains in the country have never bothered certifying their gasoline, because the business case for spending on additive licensing for a smaller, secondary product line simply doesn't pencil out internally. Number 4. The truck stop's twin sitting at the same exit ramp. Different logo, same interstate, same underlying story. When the overwhelming share of fuel revenue comes off the diesel island, gasoline additive quality for a much smaller slice of customers isn't where anyone inside the company is fighting to spend money. The size and visibility of these chains can trick you into assuming fuel quality scales with footprint. It doesn't. Big signage, minimum standard gasoline underneath. Number 3. And this is the one that quietly catches the most drivers off guard. The unbranded, no-name station. No logo you recognize anywhere else, and a price that's always suspiciously lower than everything around it. Here's why that's a gamble and not a bargain. A licensed top-tier brand is contractually locked into the identical detergent recipe at every location, every fill-up, indefinitely. An independent station has no such contract. They buy whatever fuel batch and whatever additive deal happens to be cheapest that particular week from whichever supplier undercuts the rest. One tank might turn out perfectly fine. The next one, sourced from a completely different supplier at a different price point, might sit right at the bare federal minimum. You genuinely don't know which one you're pumping into your car, and often the station owner doesn't fully know in advance either. Now here's where I have to slow down, because this is exactly the spot where a lazier version of this kind of video gets sloppy, by parking 2 or 3 huge, familiar oil brands in the villain column and betting you won't bother fact-checking it yourself. Number 2. The brands people wrongly assume are still cutting corners. A handful of major oil companies did step away from the top-tier program for a stretch a few years back, and during that window, the criticism aimed at them was completely fair and accurate. But certification lists change over time, brands renegotiate, brands relicense, and if you're working off an old video, an old blog post, or an old conversation with a buddy, you're working off information that expired a while ago. I pulled the current official list before writing this script, and those same major brands are back on it right now, fully certified across the board. That's the point of a program like this. Brands can lose certification, and brands can earn it back. Don't memorize a brand name once and lock in your judgment forever. Check the current list, because the list is a living document that updates, not a permanent verdict carved in stone. Number 1. The brands that never dropped off in the first place. These are the ones that kept paying for the higher detergent standard the entire time, at every station, on every octane grade, without a single gap in coverage. The Certified Warehouse Club from earlier is the standout example here. Same low-margin, high-volume business model as its closest competitor, and it still certifies every gallon anyway, year after year. That single fact quietly tears down the excuse that cheap fuel and clean fuel can't coexist under one roof. It's not a law of physics forcing companies to choose. It's a deliberate choice about where a few hundredths of a cent per gallon get spent. So what do you actually do with all of this? Don't try to memorize 7 brand names off a video and call yourself protected for the next 5 years. Memorize the habit instead, because the underlying list keeps shifting. Before a road trip, or honestly before your next completely ordinary fill-up on the way to work, take 15 seconds and check whether the station you're pulling into is currently on the certified list. Certifications get added, certifications get dropped, and the only way to actually know where a brand stands today is to check today, not to trust what a video told you 18 months ago, including this one a year from now. Over the life of an engine, 100,000 miles, 150,000 miles, the difference between a certified pump and a bare minimum pump isn't dramatic on any single fill-up. It's cumulative, invisible, and easy to ignore right up until it isn't. It's the slow, quiet difference between intake valves that stay clean for the life of the car and intake valves that gradually narrow year after year until you're footing the bill for a repair that a few cents worth of detergent could have prevented from ever happening. That's the real trade you're making every single time you choose a pump, whether you're thinking about it or not. So from here on, make that choice on purpose, and check before you commit to a station out of habit.